What is up, everybody, and welcome back to the Roger Report. We're diving headfirst into the hottest sports news that you need to know, kicking off with the Pittsburgh Steelers and Seattle Seahawks clashing in a Week 2 showdown that has Aaron Rodgers making his highly anticipated home debut. But wait, there's more drama. The NFL is handing out fines, and one Jets star is feeling the heat for a controversial celebration after sacking Rodgers. And speaking of Rodgers, he's on the verge of etching his name in the history books, potentially surpassing a legend. Plus, we've got the fallout from that Jets-Steelers game, including a controversial gesture that's got everyone talking. You won't want to miss any of this, so hit that like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you don't miss a single second. Steelers vs. Seahawks, Rodgers' Acrisure Stadium debut. Get ready for Week 2, as the Pittsburgh Steelers host the Seattle Seahawks in their first home game of the 2025 NFL season. This matchup is electric from the jump, especially with Aaron Rodgers at the helm for the Steelers, coming off a thrilling 34-32 victory in his debut against the New York Jets. Meanwhile, the Seahawks are hungry for their first win after a tough 17-13 loss to the San Francisco 49ers. The game kicks off at 1 p.m. ET from Acrisure Stadium. The Steelers are currently favored by 3.5 points, with an over-under set at 40.5 total points. For those looking to place a bet, the Steelers are moneyline favorites at -186, while the Seahawks are underdogs at +156. This game is not just about the win, but also about how Rodgers performs in front of his new home crowd after an impressive Week 1, where he threw for 244 yards and 4 touchdowns. DK Metcalf, facing his former team, will be a key player to watch, especially with questions surrounding the Steelers' defense due to injuries. On the other side, the Seahawks' defense showed grit against the 49ers, and Sam Darnold will be looking to get Zach Charbonnet involved early. Fans are buzzing about Rodgers' impact and whether the Steelers can maintain their offensive momentum. Betting analysts are divided, but the Sportsline model predicts Pittsburgh will cover the spread in over 50% of simulations, suggesting a close contest. Don't go anywhere, because we're breaking down the fines hitting the league next. And get ready for a dive into Aaron Rodgers' quest to make NFL history this very week. Jets' Will McDonald fined for grenade celebration. Talk about a costly sack. New York Jets defensive end Will McDonald has been fined $14,491 by the NFL for a violent gesture he made after sacking Steelers quarterback Aaron Rodgers. The league is cracking down on unsportsmanlike conduct, and McDonald's post-sack celebration has landed him in hot water. McDonald mimicked throwing a grenade and then covered his ears after taking down Rodgers, who was booed heavily during the game. This specific celebration has drawn comparisons to similar incidents involving athletes like Ja Morant and Ronald Acuna Jr., who also faced scrutiny for similar gestures. McDonald, who was vocal about his desire to sack Rodgers, had a strong performance with 2 sacks, 3 QB hits, and 2 tackles for loss in the game. However, his celebration has overshadowed his on-field success and earned him a significant penalty. The fine has sparked debate among fans and analysts about the interpretation of celebrations and the NFL's disciplinary actions. Some see it as excessive, while others believe it's a necessary deterrent for unsportsmanlike behavior. Stick around, because we're looking at another massive milestone Aaron Rodgers is on the verge of achieving. And you won't believe the detailed breakdown we have on the Steelers vs. Seahawks game and its betting implications. Rodgers nearing Favre's touchdown record. Aaron Rodgers is not just making headlines for his Steelers debut, he's also on the cusp of NFL history. With his performance in Week 1, Rodgers is now just 1 touchdown away from tying Brett Favre's incredible career total of 508 passing touchdowns. If Rodgers throws for 2 touchdowns against the Seattle Seahawks in Week 2, he would not only tie Favre, but also surpass the Hall of Famer, moving into 4th place on the all-time passing touchdowns list. This potential milestone comes after Rodgers threw for 4 touchdowns in his opening game with Pittsburgh. While Rodgers himself described the achievement as a longevity thing, surpassing Favre, his former mentor, is a significant moment in his storied career. Beyond touchdowns, Rodgers is also closing in on Ben Roethlisberger's passing yards record for the Steelers and Phillip Rivers on the all-time yards list. Fans and analysts are keenly watching to see if Rodgers can achieve this historic feat at home, adding another chapter to his already legendary career. The possibility of him climbing higher on the all-time charts, with Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, and Tom Brady ahead, has the league buzzing. But what does this mean for the game itself? We've got the full betting breakdown for Steelers versus Seahawks. And later, we'll revisit that controversial gesture that landed a Jets star a hefty fine. Jet star McDonald's fine for grenade celebration explained. Following the intense Week 1 matchup between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the New York Jets, a significant fine has been levied against Jets pass rusher Will McDonald. The NFL has penalized McDonald a hefty $14,491 for a violent gesture made after sacking Steelers quarterback Aaron Rodgers. The specific action that drew the penalty was McDonald mimicking throwing a grenade and then covering his ears. This celebration occurred after McDonald successfully brought down Rodgers, who faced considerable boos at MetLife Stadium. McDonald had expressed his strong desire to sack Rodgers, and after achieving it, his celebration drew immediate attention. This incident is part of a larger trend of players facing fines for unsportsmanlike conduct, with other players like Tier Tart and Jalen Carter also receiving substantial penalties in the same week for different infractions. McDonald's celebration, however, has drawn particular discussion due to its perceived similarity to gestures made by athletes in other sports. The fine has ignited conversations about the line between celebratory expression and unsportsmanlike conduct in the NFL, with opinions divided on the severity of the penalty for McDonald's actions. Stay tuned as we break down the epic Week 2 matchup between the Steelers and Seahawks. And don't miss our deep dive into Aaron Rodgers' quest to make NFL history in his next game. All right, everyone, that's a wrap on today's top stories. We saw the Steelers take on the Seahawks with Aaron Rodgers making his home debut. The NFL fined Jets DE Will McDonald for a controversial celebration after sacking Rodgers. And Aaron Rodgers is on the verge of surpassing Brett Favre on the all-time touchdown list. Make sure you're subscribed and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next update. Follow us on all social media platforms and let us know in the comments which story you're most excited about. We'll see you next time on the Rodger Report.